All right, guys, we're live. Hello.
All right. Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. Today, we want to discuss a topic, and it's really of why we need to supplement.
Big one.
Yes, very big one. It doesn't have to go into that much depth to really understand why nutritional supplements are necessary for our bodies. And this is a question that we get often.
Right.
And I'm sure it's also maybe some pushback that you get when trying to discuss our LiveGood nutritional supplements
Sure.
to somebody, and they say, well, I don't need to take supplements.
Yeah, I don't like supplements. Why would I take them?
Right. Or I'm healthy.
Or I eat a healthy enough balanced diet. I'm healthy. I feel great. What do I need them for?
Right. So, I mean, that's a great thing if you feel great.
Yeah, sure.
But we also want to let you understand
You want that.
that, yes,
The goal.
even when eating a balanced diet, even when eating or living a healthy lifestyle, our nutrients are depleted in our body. Not every single one of them, but I guarantee you've got one or more nutritional deficiencies. And what these nutritional deficiencies, I mean, they can cause a slew of health conditions
Sure.
that you're just wondering, like, why is this happening to me? Why do I feel like this? And it can be as simple as a one little vitamin or mineral that your body is deficient in, and adding that into your diet is like, oh my gosh, a wake-up call. Everything starts to function properly. And again, you'll hear us talk a lot about our magnesium and how it's involved in over 300 reactions in the body. So think about that, just being deficient in that one little mineral, right? If that's going on, then some or all of those 300 reactions in the body aren't taking place properly. And then we aren't living our healthiest lives, or our healthiest selves. So
I'm going to jump in real quick because I think people don't realize that they are taking supplements. Because fortified foods is exactly that, right? They've added in vitamins or minerals because they've recognized this for over 100 years that there are vitamin deficiencies, and that, it's like, even if you do your best to eat your best, most well-balanced diet and meals, and you do everything that you think is just spot on, perfectly done correctly, you're still dealing with science has shown that 9 out of 10 people are deficient in at least one vitamin or mineral. And you can see this, so the way that do you mind if I go into this about recommended daily allowance and the whole dietary value thing? So the FDA has been fortifying foods for over 100 years. I think it started with iodine for goiter, for thyroid function. So we've been iodizing our salt for over 100 years. Then we started fortifying other foods to make sure that we're getting enough vitamin D, vitamin A, calcium, all our B vitamins. I mean, so I think milk, dairy products, cereal, breads, snack foods, fruit juices, not all fortified, but most of them are fortified. And they're doing it because we're trying to prevent disease, right? So vitamin D deficiency or super deficiency would be rickets. Vitamin C would be scurvy. There's a vitamin B deficiency. And so that's the case with most vitamins and minerals. And the way that the labeling requirements on foods now with the FDA, they follow their dietary value or daily value. And that's based on the RDI, recommended daily intake. This does not take into account age, gender, pregnancy status, nothing.
Right, whether you're vegan or not, that's a big one, because different, you're lacking different nutrients.
Yeah, and so it really doesn't take any of those variables into account. So you can imagine the amount of inaccuracy there is, though. So, and they're doing this, when you look at a dietary nutrition label, supplement facts label, you're seeing the percent daily value based on the RDI. So again, no age, no gender, not taking into account that, but they're only listing it to prevent disease. They're not trying to say, here's what optimal health might look like. Because again, there's no magic bullet, or there's no absolute certainty as to what one particular person should be taking in a vitamin or mineral.
Right.
And we know this. And Lisa and I are both huge advocates for eating whole foods and clean, healthy foods. But we know at the end of the day, despite all of our best efforts, and it's what we would love for everybody to do, is eat all of these foods and get all of your vitamins and minerals and be perfectly healthy, but it's just not happening. It's not happening. And so that is just a little bit back history on the way that the FDA does label these. So definitely not anywhere even close to a perfect science. They're literally just saying, here, this amount of vitamin D to prevent rickets, right? This amount of vitamin C to prevent scurvy. So again, we're not in the world of just identifying and preventing disease. We're saying we want to optimize health. And how do we do that? Well, supplementation is a huge part of optimizing health.
Definitely. And I found it very interesting this morning. I was kind of just like, because a lot of people come to me with, Dr. Google answers.
Yeah.
And so I just was plugging in, like, why do we need nutritional supplements? And I know what sites that we use, and I know what resources that are legit and that we rely on. And I also now got to see everything that Dr. Google's plugging in there. And there's so much of it that was like, some were like, well, you shouldn't need nutritional supplements because you should be able to get everything from your diet. All this like should. But
yet the FDA fortifies foods.
Right.
So
It's very twisted. And like, even if you are, this goes back into, I talk a lot about like how our soil has changed, our modern farming techniques.
For sure.
So even if, say, you take Ryan and I, and we are eating a perfectly well balanced diet, we are making sure every day we are getting our organ meats and our seaweeds to get the iodine and our fermented foods and fruits and vegetables and everything, doing everything, then you have to think about the modern farming techniques, right? And yeah, things are just, our soil is not as rich as it used to be. So we're growing these plants, fruits, vegetables in the soil that maybe our farm animals that we will eat are consuming, but then also that we're consuming those foods. And then the animals are not getting the same nutrients. And then we eat the animals and we're not getting those nutrients, or we eat the plants and we're not getting the same nutrients. So we think we're doing ourselves a great job. And on paper, it looks really good. But then if you really go and get your blood level tested, your micronutrient level tested, then it's like an eye opener. It's like, God, I thought I was doing so well and I'm deficient in this, and this. Enter nutritional supplements.
Good point. That was solid.
I get my micronutrients tested. I try to do yearly. And that way I just know for myself, and it is forever changing. Okay. Not think, you can't just do it once and expect that to be it. Unfortunately, it is like an out-of-pocket expense. I will tell you guys, I have a list of a few ones that you can do online. If your practitioner does not do it, because it's typically from like a lifestyle medicine doctor or a functional medical doctor that will do these tests. But super, important to do if you really want to understand. There's other things that deplete our nutrients. Big one is mental and physical stress. Depletes our bodies of nutrients. I think almost everybody out there has a level of stress. Okay. And so then what's that doing to your body? Again, depleting those nutrients. So you think you're doing everything great, but then you're stressed out, life is busy, kids, this, that, financials, and then our nutrients are depleted. You talk a lot about
the three big ones: alcohol, stress, and drugs. Or no, so alcohol, exercise, and drugs. So depleting minerals, alcohol, of course, yes. Exercise, we know for sure, absolutely does. And going back to the whole idea that they're not accounting for age, gender, or pregnancy status. Imagine three brothers. Imagine this one that's 20 years old, in the military, active duty, very physically fit, very demanding life. Imagine another couch potato, like professional gamer, and then there's the one that's just unable to put on enough muscle mass. He's at home, but he's got other autoimmune conditions and disorders, maybe some insulin resistance. There is tremendous variation between those three individuals. So when Lisa talked about micronutrient testing and how to really sort of optimize your health, that's really what you want to get to eventually, because the depletion of vitamins and minerals really does depend on lifestyle and your goals. And I think you were going to lead down to the drug-induced nutrient depletion.
Yes.
So drugs is the last and probably the biggest one, because so many people are on prescribed medications now, pharmaceuticals. And pharmaceuticals have borrowed a lot of their science from plants, but they've been isolated to interact in the biochemistry of the body in one specific way, usually. And they're really very targeted. And what ends up happening is they interrupt a pathway, a cascade of events. I mean, you can name the drug, and I can give you something that it throws off. Whether it's a statin drug and throwing off coenzyme Q10, whether it's a water pill that's depleting your body of potassium and magnesium, or a blood pressure medicine, or
what about just some over-the-counter ones like antacids or allergy medications?
Oh my gosh, all the reflux meds that we take for heartburn. I mean, those things are blocking all kinds of things from absorbing, because they're altering the microbiota of the gut, the pH of the stomach. It's a disaster. So we've really got to be mindful of all of this and watch our Zoom on drug-induced nutrient depletion. We do go into a lot more detail, which would be super beneficial probably for you guys that are out there. And any questions you have, please email us on those.
Right. So again, our LiveGood supplements, they are supplements, they're nutritional supplements to a healthy diet.
Right.
They're not these supplements that are out there marketed for like this quick fix to like do something. These are literally to fill our nutrient gaps.
Yes.
These are a safety net to make sure on a daily basis we are getting what we need. Because I was looking at this, the Center of Disease Control says, we should consume about 2 cups of fruits and 2 to 3 cups of vegetables a day.
Should be twice that amount.
Yet, though, they found out that 76% of adults don't eat enough fruit, and 87% of adults don't eat enough veggies.
Don't even hit the lowest recommendation.
Right. So, and again, when we talk about this stuff, like the lowest recommendation, like how Ryan was talking about the RDIs, is that is just to get by. You hear me say a lot about surviving and thriving. Do you just want to merely survive and maybe not really reach that longevity that you really should?
Yeah.
Or do you want to thrive? Do you want to be healthy and vibrant and live a long life? Again, thus increasing that health span or making sure that health span and that lifespan are equal.
Man, well said. Perfect. I'm going to list these real quick. Brain fog, being stressed out or poor sleep, allergies, low energy, low libido, so low sex drive, pre-diabetes, constipation, or just poor bowels. If you've noticed that you're constipated one day and then you have, say, runny stool the next. What about infections and poor skin, mood swings, slow recovery, and body aches? And that's, if any of those, if you experience any of those are not normal. That is not to be normalized, and it has become normalized in our society. And it really shouldn't be, because if you're dialed in your nutrition, if you dial in your sleep, your stress, your nutritional supplements, your exercise, the lifestyle, the pillars of health, these should be rare. These should be like, no, I don't deal with any of that. No. And ultimately, dietary supplements are one of the main pillars of the health cycle. So guys, now I think if this hasn't answered the question as to why dietary supplements are important, then I don't know what will. If the writing is all over the place, it's evident, it's right in front of us. It's fortified junk foods like cereals and junky snack foods. Like,
and we shouldn't be eating.
We shouldn't be eating those anyway, but they're telling you, here, we need to put this in so that you don't get sick. And this is just
right. And what about a big one I do want you to touch on, because this is a lot more common than people think, but the MTHFR gene.
Yeah.
Like a mutation in it.
Of course.
We are just, and I have it, we are just not absorbing
it's not absorption as much as it is just they're not able to be used by the body.
Right. So we need to like take more and more and more. And that's another reason why I really stay up to date on my micronutrient test.
Of course.
But I have a few. So these are common nutrient deficiencies, and they're common, but they're all in our supplements. And I want you to think about this. Okay, well, do I eat enough of this to make sure that I'm not deficient in this? So big one. Okay, iodine is very common nutrient deficiency. And like Ryan had mentioned earlier, it affects the thyroid. Are you eating your seaweed every day? Are you eating seaweed every day? Because I mean, we have seaweed here. We do. I like to have the seaweed snacks, but I don't eat it every day. D3, very prominent in fatty fish and egg yolk. But here come a lot of these are going to be common denominators of like the fatty fish and the egg yolk. But you think about this, we're told we're not supposed to eat too much fish because of our, polluted,
PCBs, mercury, heavy metals, polluted ocean.
Right. So you can say, oh, well, have your fatty fish 1 to 2 times a week. Well, therefore you're not getting what you need to be getting from it, because you need this stuff on a daily basis. Iron, very common in red meat, organ meat, sardines. We do a good job with our organ meat, we try, but I know a lot of people don't. It's not really something that we enjoy eating. You kind of sneak it in there. Red meat, you're told not to eat it all the time. So just things that, again, we're not eating on a daily basis. B12, very common, again, high in organ meats, dairy. Vitamin A is a big one. Here comes your organ meat, and then your fish liver oil. Calcium, big, magnesium. But again, these are very common nutrient deficiencies that, again, are very hard to get from a diet on an everyday basis. Not to mention, we enter in our super reds and super greens, those phytochemicals. Same thing goes from modern farming. It is stripping the phytochemicals from our plants. We've got to make sure we're consuming these every day.
Well, we're depleting the soil down to just dirt, right? We're not regenerating it. The plants don't have a way to thrive, so we continue to increase fertilization. We're dealing with increased pests, so we're using pesticides. Then we're like, oh, wait a minute, we need to develop GMO crops that can handle all the pesticide, glyphosate resistant. You're like, whoa, these crops are certainly not as nutrient dense as they really should be or once were. Right. Yeah, so the GMO, like the whole thing is just a cycle. It's all, and it's okay to admit our mistakes. We've gone down the path of this mass food production and tried to do it with large monocrops, and it very obviously failed, and we're not correcting our actions quick enough. And so therefore, we just aren't getting the nutrients and the quality of the food.
Right. And I didn't even touch on the fact that, and I think we all know this, but like this is real organics. If you are not buying organics, like when they test, what was I listening to? I think on the podcast, they're talking about tomato, right? A conventional versus an organic tomato. And the nutrient profile was night and day different. I mean, the conventional tomato was like just depleted of all its vitamins.
Organic is still not
exactly
what it should be, right?
Exactly.
So,
but so again, you're trying to do a good thing. You're going to buy your organics, but it's hard to also buy everything organic. I mean, I go to the grocery store and I look at my thing of raspberries that's this big and it's like $6.99. I'm like, oh my gosh, but the conventional one is like $3 cheaper, but then I know like, what's the point? I'm not going to get those nutrients. I might get the yummy taste, but I'm not going to get the nutrients. And then I'm exposing myself to pesticides, which are further going to deplete my body of its nutrients. It's just cycle.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Do you want to look at even?
Yeah, let's just see if there's. Did you scroll already?
Yeah, go ahead. Go to the top. Just scroll down. Yeah.
I'll try to go real quick through.
We didn't even talk about the supplements, but it's pretty clear. Like the way that like you said, LiveGood fits a sort of a paradigm shift, not necessarily a magic bullet. Once like, you know.
Okay, these are some specific personal questions. Email those to me, lisa@livegood.com, please. Difference between super reds and super greens, the ingredients. Okay, Bruce, we just touched on about eating organic. What is this? Oh, everybody likes my shirt. We should think about adding these ones, huh?
I think we had those made off as a one-off.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, guys. Well, a lot of great questions, but again, they don't really apply to.
Look at them.
Oh, you got it.
Going too fast for my eyes. Okay, so somebody's just talking about like just a blood panel. A regular blood panel that you do from your doctor is not going to show you micronutrients. So that's what I was saying. It's a specific test that you need to discuss with your doctor about, and not all doctors do it. Typically, functional medical doctors, lifestyle medicine doctors, it is an out-of-pocket expense. Really ranges anywhere from like $300, $600. Like it's no joke, but I do really recommend doing it. And again, I did say I would list the ones that I know you can do online. So Let's Get Checked, Everlywell, and My Lab Box. If you need those, again, email me. But again, Let's Get Checked, Everlywell, or My Lab Box. So these are online ones that you can order kits and do. Sometimes they're urine kits. It's not where you have to do a blood draw, but yes, but each one is different. But again, I find this extremely important. I mean, this will go down and list. And something about mine, I didn't touch on this, that I just recently had done. Now, where's our meetings? I take 2 scoops of these per day. I actually had a question on this too, an email. I also take 1 to 2 servings of our protein powder, which is rich in amino acids. I eat at least 2 servings of meat per day, rich in amino acids. I was deficient in 2 amino acids. That's my body. So I'm just letting you know, like, you think like just by doing that bare minimum, that RDI, that RDA, whatever, that you're doing enough for your body, but each body is unique. My vitamin C was also low this time, but my nutrient panel I did 6 months ago, my vitamin C wasn't. So things also change. So if you can do these on the regular every 6 to 12 months, I highly recommend it. I know it's an out-of-pocket expense, which is tough, but your health is your wealth, guys.
Cool. All right, good job. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Have a happy Monday, super productive week. We will see you next time.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.